what's up? It's Raiti from Raiti's Rise. We're back here in super sunny Florida, and guess what? I have something super electrifying for you. This is it. This is the all-new, first time ever, 2022 Mazda MX-30 Premium Plus. But before we get into this electrified subcompact crossover SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. Mazda. They've been in business since the late 1920s. Actually, 1929 is when they started. And believe it or not, they were a producer of cork, not cars. But in 1933, something special happened. They made their first three-wheel pickup truck style, and that became the Mazda Go. And from there, it's all in the history books. Mazda built its name really, for me, on rotary powered performance, especially the Mazda RX-7. And of course, we can't forget, they were the first Japanese manufacturer and the first rotary powered race car to win the coveted 24 Hours Le Mans. Well, guess what? With this Mazda MX-30, they are a first again. They're the first Japanese car company to have a full EV vehicle, first to market. Others are following. Now with this MX-30, there's been a lot of arm wrestling, a lot of tongue wrestling, and just a lot of arguing over the range of the vehicle. And we're gonna get into that, but what I wanna really find out is, going with this MX-30, it's the size of the CX-30, is it worth the price to have this full EV in your driveway to get you from A to B? Or are there other options out there for you? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into our beautiful soul red Mazda MX-30 and find out. Right off the bat, I like the style of it because guess what? It looks like a Mazda. Now, when we start at the front of the business, you're gonna get that great headlight style and design. Really falls nicely within their lineup. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, why do they call it the MX-30? They say that this brings extra sporty driving fun, just like the MX-5, but it also gives you that versatility of, like I said, the CX-30, which is their subcompact crossover SUV. Now, at the front of the business, you're gonna get adaptive LED headlights. What that means is that they move with the steering. You got your LED daytime running lamps, and then as you work your way down that beautiful soul red, you'll notice our LED turn signals. I got the hazards on for you, so you can see those illuminated. And just like the CX-30, there is a bit of flat black plastic. Now the good news is at the front, it's very, very low, and that's gonna take a better beating, and I prefer this over gloss black. Now as we kind of come across the front end of the business, you'll see the beautiful design. That's something that I've always appreciated from Mazda, is they give you some really well thought out design. I mean, look at how the chrome trim comes nicely towards the grille. And what's really awesome that I'm digging is how the grille is actually sunken in to the front end of the fascia. You have that extension from the hood area. Of course, that massive Mazda badge. We got a forward-facing camera. I kind of like the way they hit it very smartly. And then working our way down, we have, of course, more of that flat black. Now, I know you're wondering, well, Joe, if this is an EV vehicle, why do they have grille areas? I think it's smart. I think it helps you accept it as a Mazda vehicle. And like I said, park this next to a CX-30, it makes sense. But really like the clean design. When we get up onto that nice low slung hood, look, simple body lines. They rise right off of the front fascia and just flow into the A-pillars. And that's the great news is that with today's design, these EVs don't have to look like a science experiment. It can look like a normal vehicle and still get that low drag coefficient so that we could cheat the air as much as possible. Now, as we come around the bend, what do we got? Wheel and tire setup. You're gonna have these nicely styled 18-inch wheels. They got a little bit of a twist action going on. Gunmetal, metallic gray, nice finish with that Mazda logo. Of course, we're gonna have fully ventilated brake rotors. There is regen braking. So what that means is when you brake, it'll actually help recharge the battery, and there's actually a couple different levels. I'll show you more about that when we get to the interior. You'll see how high that plastic cladding rises up into the fender. I wish it would have stopped right here. So I am gonna zonk how high it goes, but I do absolutely love the Soul Red, one of my favorite colors in their color palette, maybe one of my favorite colors in all of the auto industry. Now, if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this? You're looking at 215 on the width, nice meaty 55 series sidewall, and this EV is all-wheel drive. Now, working our way down the side, clean body lights. Look at the nice, just roll to the fender. You do have gloss black on the mirror caps. Those LED turn signals looking slick. And then check it out. Instead of doing a two-tone where everybody's doing black and the color of the vehicle, I'm digging the same color from the wheels, that gunmetal metallic gray finish with a totally blacked out roof. So thank you, Mazda. They actually use black paint the whole way from front to back. You do have a standard size sunroof, which is really wonderful. And you have a color match shark fin antenna. But with the black, it really gives it almost a nice sporty look to it, which kind of falls cleanly into that MX whole moniker. Now here is where the magic happens. Watch this. You'll look at this and you'll say, Joe, this is a two-door crossover subcompact SUV. Nah. Watch this. Open the door, and then, yes, open the rear suicide doors to give you that access for the rear seat. But guess what? I'm not ready to show you that yet, so we're gonna close it up, but don't worry, we're gonna bring it to you in a few seconds. You can see the wheelbase, similar to the CX-30, like the way they did the rear quarter window. Of course, you gotta let people know, hey, this is electric. We're gonna electrify your life. And then I really love the way they did this part right here. The Mazda badge stamped in, a little bit of brushed aluminum feel to it. And then if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's underneath here? Voila, that's where you're gonna do all of your charging. Nicely placed at the rear of the vehicle. Plug it in, you got the light right here that's gonna light up and let you know when it's charging and when it's totally complete. We'll put that right back in there like that, close it up. Almost looks like your regular fuel filler door. And then when we come out back, like I was telling you, Mazda does awesome headlamps. They do even better tail lamps. This tail lamp looks like it's something off a Ferrari. Seriously, I'm not joking one bit. The LED looking great. Look at the way it extends out. And you got the gloss black that drips down on the side. And then I'm really digging the way that the rear glass comes down, especially the way they brought the metallic gray and stopped it. I'm glad that they did that. I think it would make the rear of the vehicle look too heavy if they would have brought the gray all the way. Now, of course, we do have the wiper here, but there's nothing I could do about zonking it because there's nowhere to put it. Maybe if they would have extended that out a little further, but it's not too bad. But as we come down, of course, you're gonna get that E. What does that stand for? Extra? No, it stands for electric sky active technology. Look at all the design in the back of the vehicle to really give it that little oomph, that little pizzazz. And then you are gonna have a large flat black bumper area, which like I said is good because it's gonna take a better beating. And I kind of like the way with the black, it doesn't make the rear of the vehicle look too heavy. But why don't we go ahead, let's see if we can pop that hood and talk about what's powering our Mazda MX-30. All right, guys, we got the hood pop. You do have a prop rod. I'm not zonking that, but what I am zonking is there's no storage space underneath the hood. But what is underneath the hood? Guess what? You get to see it in all of its glory. You're gonna have a single electric motor that is going to power the front wheels, hence this being a front wheel drive vehicle. Look at all the space underneath there. It allows you to see the whole setup from the electric motor to the rack and pinion, to even your anti-roll bars down below. But what are we looking at? You're looking at one electric motor that produces 143 horsepower, 200 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a direct drive transmission. 0 to 60, not the quickest, 9.6 seconds. Top speed, 90 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 3,650 pounds, and this is the big argument that's happening is the range. The range on this vehicle is 100 miles. So what does that equate to? 98 mpges in the city, 85 mpges on the highway. Now, this is really meant to be that city dweller A to B transportation. And I've been driving it for a week now, and it works. It works in those regular daily environments where you got to go to work, you got to pick up the kids, you got to go to the grocery store, you come home, you charge it, and then you're back to your 100-mile range. Obviously, if you want to take this anywhere out of your local community, you're going to be really having to hunt for those charging stations. But here's the interesting news. If you're wondering, well, Joe, why does Mazda have so much space underneath the hood? The reason why is there's talk about this also getting a plug-in electric hybrid version that will have the electric motor, and you're not going to believe this one, the return of the rotary engine. So it'll be a combination hybrid rotary engine with the electric motor. But you know what? Until that day comes, let's go ahead, let's get to the interior, because guess what? If you want to save the planet, Mazda's right there with you with some recycled interior pieces. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, we are inside this 2022 Mazda MX-30. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been thinking about EVs. It seems that is the direction the whole auto industry is going in. I really don't drive across the country, nor would I ever. So this one kind of makes sense to me. How much is it? Oh, hold on one second. My phone's ringing. Hello? Oh, hey, Steve. Oh, really? Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. Well, no, we're still rolling here. I'm going to go ahead and correct that. Of course. You're the man. All right, talk to you later. So I had originally said that Mazda was the first to come to market with a full EV. What was I thinking? Nissan was the first to come to market with a full EV, the Nissan Leaf. I totally forgot about the Leaf, and that was my buddy Steve that works for Nissan to remind me of that. So I'm glad he did, because think about it. This vehicle is going to go up against the Leaf. It's also going to go directly up against the Chevrolet Bolt and the Bolt EUV. So back to what we were talking about, price. You're asking me, Joe, how much is this? So this premium price, you got two different ways you can go, base and premium plus. I like the way they keep it simple like that. You're looking at an MSRP a little over $37,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the recycled materials on the door panel. Up top, you're gonna find soft touch material. It is a cloth style, which I'm not 100% in love with, just because I like to rest my arm up there, but it does give some nice element of design and depth to the door panel. You are gonna get some gray contrast stitching, soft touch material, Bose sound system. You'll notice a little bit more of that gray finish. And then look at the door handle. What do we see? Cork. Think about it. The Mazda company first was producers of cork. I like the way they tied in that little history lesson for everybody. There is some off-white on the door handle armrest area, which is also soft as a pillow. And it really, like I said, gives a lot of different colors to the side. Now, the bad news is the door pocket is a little on the tight side. So maybe 4 Nature Valley granola bars and a bottle of kombucha to wash it down. Just make sure you be careful with the Nature Valley granola bars, because they make a lot of crumbs. But going from the door panel to the dash, soft touch material, Mazda bringing that premium feel without the premium price. Soft touch material, that nice aluminum style coming around the real small AC vents. And then what do we got? We got the same infotainment system, for better or for worse, that you find in the other Mazda products. That's an 8.8-inch infotainment system. Is it a touchscreen? Save your fingerprints, because you can't, it doesn't do anything. You can touch it, but it doesn't do anything. You do get to use that drive controller knob, which I'll show you in a second, and that'll allow you to go through the different features, but you do have navigation, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. I'm using the controller knob now to show you the different icons that you could just rotate through. Would be nice if it was a touchscreen. I'm gonna go into settings. And the reason why is this vehicle, of course, being an EV, has EV settings to it. So you could set your charging schedule, your climate control timer, all of those goodies. And I like the way it gives you that flexibility. Plus it gives you some nice graphics there. And then to get back to navigation, it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Let me throw it in reverse for you. There's our backup camera. You're getting those high resolution cameras, 360-degree cameras as well, which is a nice touch. And then you just go right back in the park and you're home again. Easy. Working your way down, of course, we got a power on button. not a start-stop button, power on, and this is gonna be unique to this MX-30. We have a digital display here to control all of your AC functions, heated seats, no ventilated seats, but that's okay. But I do like the way it's easy to get to and easy to operate. If you don't want to touch the screen, you can also use the toggle buttons as well, which is nice. Now watch this. 1, 2, 3, let's drop it like it's hot. We got a wonderful storage space. Because of the flat floor with the batteries and everything, you do have this wonderful storage space. Look at all the Twinkies you can put in there. More of the cork, and then guess what? Home power source and a USB up front. Close it up, USB-C, nice bridge system. We have our electric shifter for that direct drive setup. I'm so glad they didn't have any gloss black here. Flat black, no fingerprints. Look at this. No fingerprints, a little bit of chrome trim. There's that direct drive control knob to operate the infotainment system. Not very complicated once you figure it out. You got an actual volume knob. I like the way they raise this up. More of the cork, and then watch this. 1, 2, 3, boom, 2 cup holders. Smart engineering. Here is your key fob. Standard Mazda key fob. Nothing wrong with that. You got your lock, unlock, nice and light. I'll put that right back here. We're gonna flip this back down. I'm telling you, the touch materials in here, super, super soft. Lift it up. What do we got? We got a 5-pound bag of Skittles here. See the rainbow, taste the rainbow, and you got some felt lining so you're not gonna scratch the color off of your Skittles in there, which is great. And then the seats. Also, well done. I like the way they took the material from the door panel, brought it to the seat. The style, the piping really makes the seat come alive. You do have manual controls for the passenger. Over here on the driver's side, I do have electric controls. And speaking of Skittles and rainbows, Roy G. Biv, boom. That's how you can see your rainbow. Go after your pot of gold. You deserve it. But why don't you come over here? Because another thing you deserve is to see what's behind the business end in this Mazda MX-30. All right, guys, we're on the business side of things. And as you can see, I'm 6 feet tall. Plenty of headroom in here. I actually feel like there's more room than the Mazda CX-30. You do have, like I said, your seat controls to get to for the driver's side. It would be nice at this price point to have electric seats for both people up front. Steering wheel is that great goodness from Mazda. They do a great style to their wheel. Nice thin on the spokes, classy horn button, and then you get the leather trim all the way around. Paddles on the back of the steering wheel are not to go through simulated gears or gears in a gearbox. This is actually for the regen braking. You have a couple different levels of regen braking, whether you want more or less, to try to help you with that one pedal action when you're sitting in heavy, heavy traffic. And then the dash reads Mazda to a T. On the left-hand side, you're gonna have an analog charge gauge, very, very clear. In the center, you have a 7-inch digital display that tells you your range, and it tells you % of battery charge left. And then on the right, you have an analog, almost like a fuel gauge, but it tells you how much charge you have. Plus, you have that temperature for the cooling of the battery. This is a water-cooled battery setup to maximize that durability of the whole setup. But why don't we go ahead, let's open up these rear suicide doors and see how much room is in there for your passengers in this MX-30. All right, guys, back seat time. Now, what's interesting is that the back seat is not really meant for somebody 6 feet tall like myself, but here's the surprising thing. There's actually plenty of headroom to where I'm not hunched over. Now, to get into the back seat, it is a little tight, and what's gonna happen is that if nobody's sitting in the front passenger seat, the driver's gonna have to get out and close the front door for me. I could close this door, the suicide door, but I can't close the front door. And if you're wondering why they call them suicide doors, is because back in the 1920s and 30s, they used to have doors that would open up the other way than what we're used to, and it was basically suicide opening it up when there's other cars around. But what we did was we kind of moved the front seat as far forward as we could to kind of just showcase what the back of it looks like. You actually do have up top here the chauffeur style seat control. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna move the seat basically where a driver would probably have it to show. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the whole point of having these suicide doors? I guess it's to allow maybe one of your children or something like that to get access without you having to move the seat forward. You just open up the door, sort of like the Hyundai Veloster that has that third door, whereas this has the balance setup of both doors. But the fabric back here is just as soft as up front, which is wonderful. And like I said, surprisingly, a lot of room, no connectivity. So there's no USBs or a 12 volt or even AC vents, but I think that's because this is supposed to be in that just in case emergency kind of thing. What's nice though is they do give you a soft armrest with 2 cup holders. There's no pocket on the back of the driver's seat. I have a pocket over here on the passenger seat. But why don't we go ahead, let's see just how versatile this MX-30 is. Let's check out the cargo area in this EV. All right guys, time to find out the usability with this subcompact EV. You're gonna just hit the button and just lift. There is no electric assist, even on this top trim. But what you're gonna be greeted to is 21 cubic feet of space. Now, if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's this little carry bag? Is this like a little gift? No, this is the bag where you're gonna put your charging cord and everything, have it nicely tethered in so it's not gonna slide around. 21 cubic feet of space. It is a little tight, especially if you wanna bring Twinkies. We're only looking at 1 Twinkie on that cubby side. But the good news is, to do the Costco run, you can maximize your space. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna hit the button right on top of the seat and push. I'm gonna run to the other side. That's me running. And I'm going to flip that side down. Now what we're looking at is, first of all, a nice flat floor, plus you're looking at 45.2 cubic feet of space. Go to Costco, get more Twinkies, get whatever you need, and then you're ready to rock and roll. But you know what? I'm ready to do a little bit of electrifying myself. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in this new MX-30. All right, guys, we're in this 2022 Mazda MX-30, and right away, the awesome feeling that you're gonna get in here is that it feels like a Mazda in all the good ways. The nice premium touches, the way the dash is set up, everything feels very familiar. I think the one thing that I would like to see in other Mazdas is this great digital display for the AC controls, the heated seat, and the heated steering wheel. Getting to that nice, comfortable position is very, very easy. And I'm telling you, for a subcompact crossover SUV that's an EV, this is fun to drive. I know that sounds crazy hearing that from me, but it is fun to drive, and I'm starting to get it. I'm getting what would be the benefit of having an EV with a 100-mile range is that it's perfect for the things you do around town, not for driving across the country. I mean, that's what it is. But when it comes to getting to everything, all those storage spaces, I like the tie-in with the cork, and the fact that many of these pieces come from recycled materials is really, really nice. What's nice as well is you're not getting a weird Tron cycle noise like you do in some of the other EVs. And I'm glad that they didn't like create some fake engine noise. That to me is really, really kind of going the opposite direction. But super smooth throttle action. And then like I was saying, you use the paddles and you have those 2 different levels. Look at how I don't have my foot on the brake, but yet I'm slowing down, which is showing you that regen braking. And it's easy to do by just hitting the paddles. You could easily change from very, very little regen braking to level 1, level 2, which is great. And then take it off again. But let me see if I could come to a stop. I'm actually gonna come to a stop with the regen braking, slowing us down. Let me hit the brake pedal here, and then we're gonna go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. Not the fastest, but that's not the intention of this vehicle, is to be a Tesla Model Y performance beater. But yet, watch, we do have that great, fun driving characteristic. A little bit of a chirping tire there's a happy tire. Super smooth. Into this right-hand sweeper, nice and balanced. Really feels great how it communicates to the steering wheel. And that's what has always made a Mazda, is that driving engagement. Whether you're driving an SUV one of their Miatas or this new MX-30 EV vehicle. Brakes feel great. And it's a great size, especially, you know, we were in downtown St. Petersburg driving around, and it's just so easy to navigate the tighter city streets, which is wonderful. All right, guys, here we go from a dead stop on throttle. Let's go on the highway. So you're gonna have to be a little decisive getting on the highway, but the great news is you don't have any revs you're waiting for, so you get on throttle and she'll get up and go from speed to help you merge as we're about to onto the highway here. Easy peasy and very comfortable. That's another thing is that driving on the highway, the seats are comfy. There's not a ton of road noise and wind noise. Obviously, you're gonna notice those things a little bit more because there's no engine noise to kind of, you know, drown out the road noise, but super, super smooth, great visibility. Even out the back, visibility is good. Plus, you're gonna get all the safety features, the blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist. But it soaks up the bumps nicely and it cruises really, really smoothly, which is wonderful. And then as you can see in heavy traffic situations, it's real easy to hold your lane. You got a head-up display, tells you your speed, tells you your blind spot monitoring, and tells you what the speed limit is, which is really great. I know the infotainment system is not touchscreen, but to be honest with you, it's too far of a reach. So once you get the hang of it, using the rotary controller and all of the setups, it's really, really simple. I mean, to go into your navigation, you just hit down. To go back, you of course hit the back arrow, and then you just go into settings, and you could get into those EV settings, the vehicle settings, all of that good stuff, and then right back to that home setup. And then there's your navigation. I guess the one thing I would like to see is the screen be a 10-inch screen. There's a lot of real estate there that isn't used, so would be nice to have a 10-inch screen, but still does not block your visual reference out the windshield. And like I said, very, very smooth going down the road. But hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel of what this Mazda MX-30 is all about. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap it up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been a fun time, an electrifying time with this Mazda MX-30. I definitely want to thank everybody at Mazda USA for allowing Raiti's Rides access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Has Mazda done enough? The first Japanese auto manufacturer to bring an EV to market? Would you like to see a greater range? Do you think this is the perfect city driving EV setup, especially for that price? Do you think it's worth the price? Put it in that comment section. Let me know, and also Mazda know what you think about it. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you. Thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click that link in the description. Get yourself some Raiti's Rides merch. Got to give it up to The Rock behind the camera. No, it's not the wrestler. It is Lori The Rock working that camera like a champ. Lori, thank you for all your hard work and everything that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.